Oh my gosh, hi! Funny story, my oven broke, so I had to take off work to come home to meet somebody to fix my oven. And then I was like, I don't have to go back to work for a couple hours. Let's film a video. How's everyone doing? Yeah, I just kind of like dropped out of existence. Anyway, I'm back for the moment. This video is gonna be probably long because I have a lot of movies to talk about. I'm gonna talk to you about what I watched this summer. Now you may remember, I think I did this in May, like towards the end of May. I did a live stream where I took recommendations from those who were attending the live stream to build what was gonna be my June watch list. I got 45-ish films recommended to me, and it took way longer than June to watch. I don't watch movies at like a high rate. I'll watch like one movie every 2 or 3 days. So I couldn't make that happen within the month of June, but I have finally finished watching all this stuff. So that's what I'm gonna talk through first. I'm gonna talk through all these films that you guys recommended to me and give my thoughts, and then if I have time after, I'll talk about the other stuff I've been watching this summer. Okay, so these are my lists. This is what I got from you guys. I highlighted it and everything as I watched. Some of y'all were sending me on wild goose chases finding places to watch these films. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through all of them. You know, some of them I have done review videos for, so I'm not going to elaborate. First, I watched Eating Raoul. I think that was 1981. This was recommended by David. It's sort of like a black comedy. I did a full review video on Eating Raoul, but it was really fun. Next, I watched Terrified from 2017. I think it's 2017. Recommended by Alessandro. I did a full review video on that as well, and it was an awesome, scary, paranormal adventure. I watched Scalpel, 1970, I'm just guessing at this point, 1978? 1977. This was a really cool crime horror drama. It was awesome. I liked it. I watched The Corruption of Chris Miller from 1973, recommended by The King of Doom. And I'm really glad I watched it. It was a lot like a Giallo. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a Giallo, but it's Spanish. Anyway, I did a full review on that as well. I did a full review on Scalpel. These were the early stages where I had a lot of free time and I could make reviews on all of them. I watched Fair Game, the Italian movie from 1988. It was recommended by Sydney Jenkins, and it was so much fun. Very simple and straightforward, but a really good time. I watched Rabid Dogs from 1974, recommended by Helene. Did a full review on that one as well, but it was a blast and it was very tense. James recommended Sisters from 1973. This was very cool and very fun, and I don't know why I haven't heard anyone talk about it. Noah recommended Knife Plus Heart. It's a new movie, 2018. And I thought it was really beautifully crafted. And I definitely did see some of the Giallo influence, like particularly at the end. Floydster 23 recommended The Loved Ones from 2009 and Next of Kin from 1982. I really enjoyed both of them, particularly Next of Kin. I have already since rewatched it. Oh, and I own it now. Adam Trash recommended The Tough Ones from 1976, also known as Rome Armed to the Teeth. This was my first exposure to Maurizio Merli. This was a great movie. Love it. Love Maurizio. It has even Rossimov in it. Loved it. It's good. Celise, aka Sweet and Spooky from the Sweet and Spooky YouTube channel, recommended Belle de Jour, 1967. It was great. It was very classy. Kevin Splinter recommended Throne of Blood from 1957. Talk about pushing me out of my comfort zone. The 50s? What? Japan? What? It was really cool. It felt very Shakespearean. Come to find out it was inspired by Hamlet, was it? I'm sorry, Macbeth. And Kevin also finally forced me to watch Black Sunday from 1960. This was awesome. I know I should have watched it a long time ago, but I'm also kind of glad that I waited because I have like a better understanding of Gothic horror and Italian horror, and I feel like I could just fully appreciate it. So it was just so good. Such an atmospheric, like Halloween appropriate movie. Ontologically, Steve recommended Belle from Hell from 1973. Now I watched this like in June. It's September now. I watched this in June, so it's kind of hard to retrieve the memories of this movie, but I'm sorry, Steve, I just didn't like it at all. I called it crusty and dusty. Gary recommended Last House on the Beach, which I didn't finish because that is the genre I do not watch. And also Lorna the Exorcist from 1974. It was an experience. Kyle recommended The Female Vampire, Female Vampire from 1973. It was messy, but I really like Jack Taylor. Y'all know I've been running my mouth. If you haven't been watching my reviews of these things, I felt like Female Vampire was like the practice before Vampiros Lesbos, except it was made after Vampiros Lesbos, so riddle me that shit. Kyle also, from some people I took 2 recommendations, I don't know why, but Kyle also requested / recommended Scream of the Demon Lover from 1970, and I liked it. Especially for people who like the Gothic, Hammer, all that kind of stuff. I thought it was really good. Well, apparently pretty good because I only gave it 2 stars. Fried Abs requested Obsession from 1976, another De Palma film. I didn't know what this was gonna be, but it's like kind of a drama, and it was very sparkly and pretty, but weird. Brian requested Bloody Pit of Horror. What year? 1965. I think maybe I made a short on this. I wish I could have done a full review on it. Maybe I will at some point, but I ended up buying that as well in the Severin sale, but I loved it. It was just so much fun. I was calling it like torture porn before torture porn was a thing. Okay, and he also recommended The Klansman from 1974 as like some hicksploitation. I think it will fall under hicksploitation. Yeah, duh. So he recommended this to me because it is set in Alabama, and Alabama is where I live. I really okay, it's not that good. It's not that good of a movie. And I can't even get into all the problems it has. But also, O.J. Simpson's in it. Crazy. Also, one of the first things I noticed is bitch, that is not Alabama. And also, one of our friends here on the channel, Mo Kane, lives or lived in the town where it was shot, which is in California, not in Alabama. Did you hear that? Did you hear someone messing with my door? I thought that was my husband, and it wasn't. Someone probably put something on my doorknob, but he walked away. Anyway, Sean recommended Don't Look Now from 1973, and I think this is sort of an iconic movie. I guess maybe people have recommended it to me in the past, but I finally made my way to it. It was very cool, very weird. I don't even want to say anything to spoil anything for those of you who haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen it, don't read anything about it, just watch it. It's awesome. The mayor recommended Venus in Furs from 1969. This is Jess Franco film, and I have it on DVD because Brian sent it to me. Sorry, I'm caffeinated. I don't really know what to say about it. Just Franco has a way of doing that sometimes. It was weird. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to circle back to that one, read some discussion about that one. I need help. Oh my gosh, Alan Smithy's Ghost recommended Reform School Girls. Was this 1986? It was awesome. It's essentially a women in prison film, but with this like crazy 80s flavor. So it was a lot goofier and a lot more fun, and definitely took a lot of liberties. And you just like don't question how all these girls got all this makeup and jewelry in prison. Okay, just enjoy it. I thought this was a really fun movie. It did have sort of like mixed, I don't say messaging, it had like a mixed tone. Like, is this serious or is this funny? Is this fun or is this dark? It was kind of going all over the place, but it was very cool. Kaios recommended Dressed to Kill. I haven't seen it. Well, now I have. 1980, another De Palma film. And this one gets a lot of credit and attention for being like an American Giallo. I definitely see it. There was a lot going on here. Like goofy police, a straight razor, the trench coat, like the sleeves, the stylish camera work and all of that. I kind of thought the film would be like a little more like fun, you know, like Dressed to Kill, baby. But instead it was pretty serious. Oh man, Jay Killjoy recommended Alucarda from 1977. Oh my god. I know I needed to watch it forever. Oh my god, like I thought about it all the time. And I see people posting about it all the time, like on Instagram and stuff. So I have finally watched it. It was so good. And I think what makes it so good really is the like performances. There's just so much screaming in this movie. Just screaming constantly. The set and everything is really good too. And the film really pushes. It's extra. Like you think they've done enough and then they just do more. And it was just so much fun. It was so cool. Dude McMahon recommended Scum of the Earth, and that is one that I could not find. I think he recommended, I don't remember why he recommended Scum of the Earth. That sounds like hicksploitation, doesn't it? But he also recommended Free Hand for a Tough Cop, 1976. I think he recommended this to me because it's a beginner-friendly poliziotteschi. But I wish that I hadn't watched it after I watched Syndicate Sadist, because I also watched Syndicate Sadist, which was recommended by Bloody Effin' Gore, who I allowed a free pass to get onto my list, even though he wasn't on the stream. Syndicate Sadist, 1975. Now, both of these films have Tomas Milian in it, and Syndicate Sadist really freaking kicked ass. And then comparatively, Free Hand for a Tough Cop just didn't like pop like Syndicate Sadist did. I still had fun watching it, but yeah, I definitely prefer Syndicate Sadist. Thank you, Dude McMahon, though. You rock. For real, though. Gary recommended David Cronenberg's Rabid, 1977. It was great. I loved it. It was just a really fun watch. Very Cronenbergian. Ashley recommended The Black Cat. Kotze's The Black Cat from 1989. This is another one that I'm just like so glad that I waited to watch. It is not, this sounds so snooty, but it is not for the uninitiated, okay? You have to have been around, you have to have seen some things, you have to have met some people, you gotta know some stuff. And only then will the film be effective. But I just really liked it. I don't think I would have liked it if I watched it like early on into my Italian horror journey. But it was just so cool. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's hard to explain. Ugh. But there's a fun little line that I keep meaning to tell Ashley about this, so I'll tell you right here, right now. It's about this couple. They have a helper named Sarah, like a an assistant, a maid or something, a nanny, I don't know. Her name is Sarah. And so one day when their refrigerator breaks, they're both looking at it going, what do we do? And the wife's like, I guess the only thing we can do is have Sarah take a look at it or something. Like, she's like, Sarah will just have to do something. And it was so funny that now Zach and I always just talk about, oh, well, we'll have Sarah do it. Okay, David also recommended, this is one that I didn't watch. He recommended This Stuff Will Kill Ya from 1971. I think because this was Alabama hicksploitation. I could not find it. The only way I could find it was on Arrow's streaming service, and I could have gotten a free trial and watched it, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to go doing all of that. No offense, but then I watched a trailer and I was like, it doesn't look that good. Correct me if I'm wrong though. If it's good, just let home know. I'll try again. Oh, Dead Ringer recommended Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Is this 1971? Yeah, 1971. I've always wanted to watch this just because the title is so good. Well, I have since bought it from the Severance sale. No, I bought it. Ooh, I didn't even tell you about that. I bought it from Orbit. I'll do another haul at some point. But this one was like really freaking weird, but it was so moody and atmospheric that I still liked it and like wanted to. It reminds me a lot of Next of Kin for some reason. That just like, it's a mood you like to be in, like a little place you like to be in. So Zach has watched a ton of these movies with me now, and he doesn't know them by their titles. So for Let's Scare Jessica to Death, the thing that struck me the most was they caught a mouse and they called it a mole, but it had ears. It's a mouse. So I always tell Zach, you know, it's the movie where they were calling a mouse a mole. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, that one. That upset me a little bit, but the movie is so good that I forgave it. Brian recommended Witchfinder General, 1968. Oh, Vincent Price. So I know this is an important thing to watch because it's in this like trilogy with the blood on Satan's claw and Wicker Man. But with Witchfinder General, honestly, I don't really see how it's horror. It felt like a historical drama, but it was fine. I mean, I liked Vincent Price's character and everything, but I'm like, it didn't feel like a horror movie. But I do see how it complements the trilogy, which I still haven't seen Wicker Man. But it was a vibe, you know, it was a vibe. Folk horror, apparently. Kyle recommended House from 1977. I had no idea what this was going to be. Like, I've seen people talking about it. I've seen the cover a lot. I know people love it, but I didn't know it was going to be what it was. I'm speechless again. It was just beautiful. It was like a living cartoon. Schoolgirls! You know me, I love schoolgirls. It's like, it was awesome. And I used to be like a really big anime person. So there was a lot I appreciated about the film. It was very out there. It was kind of like a fairy tale. Subjective, perspective, collective. Recommended American Rickshaw. 1989. This is a Martino film. Oh, and Josh A. Kagan gave this to me on Blu-ray. So I had it, and I needed to watch it. Uh-oh. I'm speechless again. Oh, well, I didn't even know what a rickshaw was. So now I know. I thought a rickshaw was like some sort of a tool. That was very bizarre. So sometimes if I don't like a movie, I'll sort of put it in this little pile of like, maybe I can gift it to somebody who wants it. But even though I didn't know what to do when I finished American Rickshaw, I still put it back on the shelf. And I didn't put it in the giveaway pile. So I think that says something. Jay I think it was Jay Killjoy, recommended Arachnophobia. I thought this was going to be like a full moon movie or something, you know, like one of those stupid ones, but it's actually more of like a family film. But it was really fun. It was really good. Very much like, you know how the music is in 90s movies? You know what I'm talking about? Someone help me with terminology. It's like an orchestra. It was filled with a lot of that. But it was really cool. That was fun. Johnny recommended Perfect Blue. I have been scared, 1997, I think. I've been scared to watch Perfect Blue because I thought it was going to be like super duper depressing and dark and grim. But I found it to be surprisingly watchable, and I actually really, really liked it. It was cool. It was very cool. And most of the time, like, I couldn't really get into like anime movies. Like, for some reason I always wanted it to be a series, but like for it to be a standalone movie, I always thought that was strange for some reason. I don't know, but I really liked it. I liked that there were so many little things that I feel like a lot of people could relate to in the film, and it was beautiful. I liked the art too. I'm picky about my anime art, and I thought that was really beautiful. So yeah, I finally watched it, and I would watch that again too. Ontologically Steve, you also recommended Cemetery Man. 1994, I knew it was new. This was just really, really cool. It was awesome. It went kind of all over the place, but there was a lot that I liked about it. Maybe there was too much going on. I don't know. But the visuals are just incredible. I love our actors, like I love our characters. This is a great time. Now, you can't really explain why it's great. At least I can't explain why it's great. I might have to like watch it again to be able to articulate something about this film, but it was really cool. Sleepaway. Sleepaway, I don't remember what the rest of your username is, but I put Sleepaway, recommended Living Dead Girl from 1982, a Rollin movie, and I loved it. I loved it. It was beautiful. This is one of the best things I've seen of his so far. I know I have a lot more of his work to see, but we had a great time with Living Dead Girl. Helene also recommended Perversion Story, aka One on Top of the Other, which is a Fulci film that I had yet to see. 1969, I knew that. It has John Sorrell and Marisa Mel in it. That rhymed. And it's just really good. It's a beautiful movie, and it's like kind of a mind fuck, you know? One of those kinds of jolly, and I liked it a lot. I don't think it gets enough attention. Now, that might be because it's not very easy to find. It's not very accessible right now, but it was a really good watch. Now, Tim recommended this movie called I Am Not Your Mother. And I couldn't find a movie called I Am Not Your Mother, but I did find a movie called You Are Not My Mother. So that's what I watched. It's an Irish movie, I think, from 2021. And it was very cool. I don't want to tell you what it's about or anything. It's like one of those things that you need to see it for yourself. I like where it went, and it was very well made. I was in it. T800. I'm just now realizing how many of these things you guys recommended that I now own. T800 recommended Blood on Satan's Claw. Bitch. I know y'all have been recommending that to me. I know. And I slept on it because that movie was awesome. I was in love. Can we create a genre called flower crown horror? Forget folk horror. We're calling it flower crown horror. It was so good. Oh my god. See, it's been so long I'm forgetting. The Phantom recommended Hider in the House, which is very random, but maybe it's not random because I like Lifetime movies. Hider in the House is from 1989 and it's starring Gary Busey. And the whole time we were going, Hider in the House. I don't know why. It was really good. It was just one of those, you know, like well-made movies, like a well-made American movie with a big budget. It was very fun. Great concept. Raichu, thank you very much. It's because of you I have finally decided to watch Frankenhooker. Frankenhooker 1990. Well, I instantly fell in love. Actually, okay. I don't think we needed so much of that main male character. I think we needed more of Frankenhooker, but even so, movie was awesome. Adorable, hilarious, just so good. Now I, like every other girl, want to be Frankenhooker for Halloween. Chris Fawcett gave me something a little different. You know, we have a few outliers. What did they call that in math? Like statistically, when there'd be like a few that are just outside of what's normal. Anyway, Chris recommended to me the pumpkin carver. 2006. Now this is my senior year of high school. Okay, so this is like how old I am. I don't know anything like about who made this movie and like where. I think it's just like an independent low budget movie. But if you like the 2000s and like cheesy teenage stuff, and this is set on Halloween, which I love a good movie set on Halloween, it's kind of good. It's kind of good. I have a lot of questions. Oh, but I mean, I don't know how cheap this movie is because it does have some like people that I know in it. Minka Kelly is in it, and there's also a girl I recognize named Charity Shea. You know, this actually, I had a lot of fun with it. There was a lot to kind of like giggle about, but also it fills you with that nostalgia for that time period. So I thought it was really great, and it's probably one that I would not have found or watched on my own. I'm looking back at my reviews of these movies and stuff to jog my memory, and one thing that I did not appreciate about the pumpkin carver was their use of the papyrus font. I already talked about bloody effing gore, recommending Syndicate Sadist, love it. Okay, let me just say that all you men are in love with Tomas Milian. Y'all are all obsessed with him, and I'm like, why? Like, where? But when I saw Syndicate Sadist, I get it now. I guess I just haven't seen him in the right movies, so I understand. I understand why you guys have a crush on him. And the final film I will mention is Nicholas Vincent. I have finally watched Just Before Dawn, 1981. This is another one that seems to be an underrated gem, which could possibly be because it is not easy to access. But this is a woods horror with like a little bit of hicksploitation mixed in as well. Like, it's a woods slasher, and it just does it so well. The setting is beautiful. It's okay, so, and this is why I love horror movies set in the woods, because it's beautiful and tranquil and peaceful, but also it's very unsettling because of the remoteness and like the fact that if you need help, there is no help, you know? So that one's really good. I think that film needs some attention. So thank you, Nicholas Vincent, for singing its praises. I would definitely like to revisit it, and it is one that I will not forget. Okay, I've talked for a really long time, so I think I'm gonna cut it off here and not go into the other movies I've been watching. I'll do that in a different video. Hopefully this worked. I know I basically just read you out a list and did this or this, you know, but there's a lot to get through. So I hope this worked out. If not, then I won't do this format again. I just wanted to say that this challenge of taking on 45 requests from you guys, it was kind of scary because I was like, what kind of shit are y'all gonna make me watch? But it was all like really good, enjoyable stuff. It's nothing that I regretted watching at all, except for Last House on the Beach or whatever it's called. Oh hey, editing me here. I totally forgot to mention something. After watching this video, you are probably itching to recommend another movie to me. Well, I have a new way to do that. I have created a Google form where you can put in any requests for me. I'm gonna have that linked down below. So if you want to recommend something to me, the best way to do it is through that Google form. So thank y'all so much. And it also like really made me sit down and watch stuff I've been meaning to watch, that like, you know, the must-sees, like things like Cemetery Man. I thought it was just really cool to finally accept responsibility and watch a lot of these things, but also try new things like getting out of my comfort zone. Anyway, I'm so glad to be back with you guys again. I hope to have another video sometime soon. Like I said in my community tab, I'm working on a presentation that I'm giving at the start of November, and I still have a lot more research to do before then. So I'm kind of like locked. When I'm not working, then I'm working on this project, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Just hang in there. And until next time, ciao.